All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining me yet again. I can't sit here and fathom the fact that just 2 months ago, I just had all these jitters to want to share a part of me that's been wanting to just release different ideas and thoughts into my head. And I haven't made a ton of progress, but progress is progress. The thing is, if we dwell on not achieving the things that we've set out to accomplish, then we will never be able to celebrate the present and the victories that come about. So for every view, every like, every new subscriber, I become more and more thankful because it makes me a little bit better than I was the day before or the week before. The only sad news that I have today, my Buddha dropped and now it's headless, but it's okay because things happen, accidents happen. Anyways, I hope you got a little bit better since the last time you checked in with me, and that things have been working in your favor, that you're doing a little bit better, you're doing a little bit more as far as contributing to society for being a better person and helping your people around you, being courteous, being kind, and being the best you that you can be. Hopefully you're still chasing after your goals and your dreams and not being stopped by the evil, the doubt, the naysayers, and everything that's pushing against you from accomplishing your goals. Anyways, so I'm sure you've seen the title by now, and you probably, if you haven't read this book, you're probably a little confused as to what I mean by the 4 agreements. So we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 agreements because a good friend of mine gave me this book, and this was honestly the first book that I read in years, and for some reason I just wanted to just show this person that, hey, I can do it. So I decided to read it. If you don't know what I'm talking about the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a great book. It's the Aztec philosophy on life, basically. And I'm due to read it again here shortly, but I just wanted to go about it because these 4 things, ever since I read the book, I've always been able to stop and realize when they're happening, what I can control, and help me get grounded. So there's 4 of them, obviously. So start off from the top. We're going to talk about being impeccable with your word. So what do you mean by be impeccable with your word? I mean, what you speak out into the world, into the universe, is what happens, and it's what comes back to you. Now, that's why I'm personally very big on manifestation. I manifest things into my life. I've manifested everything in my life to this point to work in my favor, and I spoke it out loud into existence. I meditated on them and I've prayed on them because I truly believe that what you think and feel is what you can achieve, and speaking it out loud is what helps set it in stone to become a reality. Now, I say that as well because it can work the complete opposite way. It can work in the ways of speaking negative. If you speak negative about not only yourself but people around you, you're bound to be just a negative person. And nobody wants to be like that. I mean, some people do, I guess, but then those people genuinely aren't happy with themselves and what's happening around their lives, so they try to bring other people down. People will try to bring you down with their word and try and hit different strings to make you feel less, make you feel like less, but just don't allow them to. I can't really give you too much as far as having a defensive mechanism besides just let them. That's obviously the book I'm still reading, and I'm almost done with that. I only got like 2 hours left. I'm 8 hours in. Just let them. But be impeccable with your word, because the more positivity you bring out, the more it's gonna come back to you. Second one, don't take anything personally. And this one was huge, but it wasn't my favorite one. But don't take anything personally, meaning everyone's living their own lives. Everyone's got their own thing going on. Everyone's going through different circumstances, different situations where they're hit with adversity, they're celebrating their wins, but regardless of how people come at you or say things to you, just don't take it personally. Don't attribute to malice, simply because everyone's going about their own thing. Everyone's doing them at the end of the day, and you don't know if someone's cutting you off on the road because they got to get somewhere fast, urgent, some family emergency is happening and they need to get somewhere. Just let them, and you'll be okay. Maybe a loved one, someone you love, someone that is showing you a different side of them, just trying to express their feelings, emotions. Don't take it personally when they say something that's mean, hurtful, whatever not, simply because you don't know what's going on for real. Maybe they're looking at you as a safe haven to help them out. Let them. Like, nothing's truly intentional. I don't think people try to be mean on purpose. Sometimes it's just from the environment, their upbringing, and things like that. Don't take it personally, because things happen for a reason. Sometimes you can take things personally, and by that I mean take it personal to use as fuel to drive you into leveling up into the next part of your life. Like, naysayers and people just talking shit and thinking that you're doing things for no reason. Use that to fuel you. Okay, motherfucker, you think this? I'm gonna show you something. And I don't want you to take anything personally when I talk, or I'm saying that you're not doing something, this and that, because I don't know what you're going through. I'm not telling you guys how to live your life. I'm telling you a little bit about my experience, my background, the history of me, and what I've learned up to this point, in hopes that you'll be able to learn something from it and be able to do something with it in your life, or maybe just relate, and hopefully it'll help you get through the patch in your life that you're going through. Just be more self-aware of that, and you'll be able to live a lot more stress-free. Take some ashwagandha too. It'll definitely help keep you nice, relaxed, so that when people piss you off, it's gonna have less of an effect on you. Now this one's my favorite one, simply because it's the one I struggle with the most. And typically when I struggle with things, I try my hardest to learn why, and I try to overcome that part of the adversity. And it's don't make assumptions. And it's the hardest thing to do with someone like me who's got, anxiety, that's got, different fears and different things that I go through in different situations where my mind's constantly running. All of us are always running. We have 50,000 thoughts per day, most of them unconsciously. And my mind typically tends to make up situations that are completely false. And then what would happen was my mind would feed into that false reality I created in my head, and then drag that into something else, into something else, into something else. And eventually my mind would just explode, and I start word vomiting to other people, different people, without stopping to think logically. And you could probably relate to that in a little bit, because it's probably happened to you. But what I've been able to find was, after enough times of relapsing and fucking up and feeling bad for doing that, I'd keep on analyzing, why did I do that, what happened, how did it lead to that, and how did I get to that point. And then eventually I was able to learn from it. Now nowadays I catch myself right beforehand stopping, putting myself in the situation, and especially from the part of the book that I'm listening to by Mel Robbins, where she said, we get those 90 seconds when we get those bursts of emotions, we have to sit in those feelings for 90 seconds and let them be what they are, and feel those emotions, so that we are able to stop and think logically, and we don't act out and hurt somebody, talk bad to somebody, talk negatively, because then the people are going to be taking it personally, and then it's going to be that whole cycle again. So just stop and don't make assumptions. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. I know, because I'm still working on it. Stop and breathe. You're doing better than you think you are, a good friend of mine says. And the last one, which I truly stand by compared to basically all of them, is always do your best. Because like I've said before, there's only two things that we can't control in this world. It's your attitude and how much effort you give into what you're currently doing, as far as work, gym, school, studying, relationships, anything of that sort that you're currently doing. Just make sure whatever you're doing, you do your best, because that's really the only thing that you can control, is how much effort you truly give. You can procrastinate, throw it off to the side, give a little attention here and there, and then not really actually feed into it. Or you can actually try to change your life and try and make things a little harder so that they are better later on down the road, by doing your best, simply by doing your best. Now, somewhat example I use is basketball. I'm not a hooper. I never claimed to be. I never played in school or nothing like that. But because I work really hard on myself and my body, it just naturally translates, because I always do my best at everything. Work, myself, my prayers, my everything. I always make sure that I'm always doing my best. And even though I have my days where it's typically not, I still make sure I can sit back, realize how it went, analyze what happened, and then be able to restart so that I can get back to it the next day and try harder and always do my best. But yeah, 4 agreements. I definitely recommend this book to anybody. This was the first starter book that I read that got the ball rolling for me in order to start reading. And now I genuinely love reading. It's a great hobby of mine, and I thank that friend for just constantly giving me books, because I just would constantly read them. And it's a great practice, most definitely. I feel like I've been able to attain a lot of knowledge, and not only attain it, but apply it in real life, because knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. which is strong. So definitely use that. So week before, I finally finished Endure. I finished it a couple days ago by Cameron Haynes. Great book. I recommend it. I never heard of him before that book, but it was a great read. Honestly, I couldn't stop reading it. So it's only like 310 pages around there. So a nice read. Definitely would get into it. I've got a couple of books that I want to get into. I definitely want to reread the Four Agreements, because honestly, like, sometimes there's those books like that one, which is a very short read. I think it's only like 120, 140 pages or something around that sort. I'm not too sure. I don't remember. But it's one of those things where the more times you read it, the more things that you'll pick up that will hit different and get implemented into your brain. The next book that I'm starting, though, right over here, I took the cover off again because I don't like these damn flimsy covers. But it's Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. If you can see that. It's a great book too. I should be able to finish it next week. It's only 216 pages. I started it yesterday, I believe. Only like 40 pages in right now. So I definitely would recommend it to this point, because man, it's so easy to be great nowadays, and I consider myself great compared to my peers and people that are around me, because I just see it. I don't talk about it much, but it's just personally, I can just feel it in my soul that I'm doing more and I want to do more. I put myself in those tough situations for a reason, because I know I can handle it. I pray that you can as well, and that you become obsessed with something that will turn into your passion. Me personally, I think what that's starting to become is just helping people, being a better person, making sure that I give positive energy and positive feedback into this world. Sometimes it can be harsh, rude, take it however you'd like, but I genuinely feel like because I already went through that myself, I can talk in a way that most people can relate to. So that's my obsession, besides work and self-improvement and mental health and all that other fun. I just want to help people out. That's why I do this. People think that I'm doing this for myself and this and that. Like, I love the idea of things, which is why I do them, but I love the idea of being able to help people. And I love the thought that, you know, I might be able to help somebody out that's going through something that I probably already gone through. So I thank you guys for joining me today. I thank you guys for being who you are. Don't be so harsh on yourself. And like I was saying in the beginning, celebrate those small wins. Celebrate all the times where, you know, life wanted to kick you down, throw dirt in your face, spit on you, and do all this and that. And just be grateful. Grateful for everything that's happened, because whether it was good or bad, whatever label you put on it, you were able to learn something from it. So keep doing you. Continue to pray that you continue to win those battles that you don't talk about. And thank you for joining me. And like always, my friends, to have a good week and stay focused.